Welcome to Hochoka Podcast.
What is a buffalo harvest, and what is the significance of the buffalo to the Lakota people? Let's learn from two people who recently participated in a harvest. Hello, Mitaki AP, and welcome to Hochoka, here at the center of St. Joseph's Indian School's campus. I'm Scott Wooster, your Hochoka host. Joining me are two of St. Joe's finest, Mission Integration Director Joe Terrell and high school senior Mercedes Selwyn. They are here to tell about a sacred Lakota tradition. Mercedes and Joe, welcome to Hochoka.
Glad to be here, Scott.
Yeah. So, I kind of talked about it a little bit in the header as we went in, but Joe, I'll just direct this to you to start with. But buffalo in Lakota is Tatanka, right?
Yes.
And that means the big beast. Okay, so why do you and your team arrange for our students to attend a buffalo harvest?
Yeah, good question. So in 2018, I had the opportunity to go to Pine Ridge to Makpialuta Red Cloud School with Lorraine Wooster, Native American Studies teacher.
I know her.
Your wife.
Yeah.
And we participated in their Red Cloud Makpialuta's buffalo harvest.
I remember.
And on the way back, we just kind of said, like, man, that was an amazing experience. How do we make that happen at St. Joe's? And in 2020, that fall, we took the 8th grade students, which was Mercedes' class, to the local reservation and participated in the school's first buffalo harvest. And then in 2022, we did it again with the 8th grade class. And this year, we changed up a little bit and did our high school students, because we had new students in the high school program. They heard about it from Mercedes and some of the other kids. They wanted to participate in it. So we had the high school students do it this year. And so to kind of answer the question too, like, our goal in the Mission Integration Department is to help our students find their identity. And with that, helping them find their identity is culture. So giving our students cultural opportunities, and this is a perfect example of it. Students can get connected to the buffalo, feel connected to their ancestor, the buffalo, and then also be connected to each other. Simply, it was an opportunity that we couldn't pass on, and then it's an opportunity for the students that they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. So I think for a lot of our audience members that we have, it might be the first time they've ever heard about a buffalo harvest. Can you, and you can take turns however you want to do this, but can you kind of describe the process? You've been on 2 of them now, and maybe point out some of the pieces of the culture or the elements as you go along.
Yeah, so I'll start. A lot of stuff before the harvest is writing letters to the local tribe, letting them know that we would like to do it, getting their permission for it, working with the taxidermist to make sure that the hide is tanned properly, and then working with the local locker so that the meat can be processed the way we want it to be processed. So that's kind of the basics of it. And then I'll kind of just run through our day, and Mercedes, jump in if you kind of remember it too. So we left here in the morning. We drove 20 to 30 miles north to Crow Creek and went to their wildlife department and got out, had a quick little meeting, had a quick little game plan of what we were going to do. We got lucky this year where the buffalo, the herd, was very close to the shop. Historically, the last 2 times that we've been on them, the herd has been very far away. If you remember the one at Lower Brule in 2020, we had to drive, felt like all over the plains of South Dakota to look for the herd.
Yeah.
So we got lucky that the herd was close to us. The tribe works with a local guy to shoot the buffalo, and that guy knows the cultural respect of the buffalo will sacrifice itself, or the herd will kind of push out a buffalo to be sacrificed. That individual then will shoot the buffalo. We get the all clear from the wildlife department. We go out to the buffalo that is now down. And at that time, it's a very spiritual and a very emotional moment. Each individual is kind of going through their own little emotional time. So you have some people that are crying, some people that are smiling. Some guys want to get right up close to it and like pet the buffalo. Mercedes got to sprinkle tobacco all over the buffalo and give the buffalo its last drink. And then we give the buffalo some sage for its last meal. Purification, a lot of sage is being used. We circle up, a lot of prayers are being said. And then there's some prayer songs being sung as well.
For a student and as a Lakota, Dakota, Nakota tribal member, what does that mean for you? What's that experience like for you?
The experience was very spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
It was very nice to be there, not once but twice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that you see every day, so
Right.
it was very nice to like just be there and especially participate in the buffalo hunt.
Yep.
I loved the first one and I loved the second one, especially since I participated in it.
Yep.
But yeah, it was definitely an amazing experience.
Yeah, and so he talked about the different kind of responses to, two things. One, the death of the buffalo, which is also a sacrifice of the Tatanka Oyate for the people. How did it make you feel to be around that?
It definitely made me a little sad, but you know, the buffalo gave its life up for its herd, you know, and for our people. So it was very sad, but at the same time, we all as a group felt very appreciative of the buffalo.
Yeah.
And there was some people crying. I had a little teary-eyed.
So the buffalo gives itself, obviously, through death, and you get to be a part of that experience.
Yeah.
But the buffalo, every part of the buffalo goes to the people so that they can live, and that was always the way it was done. So can you talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, the buffalo, every part of the buffalo was used. It still is till this day. None of it goes to waste. So the skull would be used in ceremonies. The bones would be used for tools. The bladder would be used as a cooking pot.
Okay. Yep.
The buckskin could be used for multiple different things, as a rug, as a blanket, you know, to lay on, multiple things.
Yep. And Joe, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so then for what we do at St. Joe's, we try and incorporate all of the buffalo back to like what Mercedes was saying, very historical, but bring it into a modern term. So all of the meat gets processed, and then the homes can use it for ground meat and make whatever they want with it. So first grade all the way up to the seniors feel connected to it. Then in the spring, we have parent-teacher conference, and we make that meat into stew meat, so then the parents can participate in it as well. And then we make a handful of it into jerky. So then our students, when they go on the cultural trip, the 7th grade cultural trip, and the junior and senior spiritual retreat, they can eat it too. So while they're hiking Bear Butte, while they're hiking Black Elk Peak, they can take a bite of that buffalo. So it's a really cool experience for our students to always feel connected, and specifically for the families too, to feel like they're connected to the buffalo. The hide we use for ceremonies. The hide from 2022 is now in the Equine Therapy Center. This year, 2024, everything was going to be given to the rec center. So the hide will be given to the new rec center, and the skull will be mounted. So when you come into the rec center, it'll be mounted on the wall. So for our students, as they come into the rec center, as they go into the Equine Therapy Center, when they're in mass, when they're in the Native American Studies room, they're constantly seeing a buffalo, whether it's the skull or the hide, and feeling connected to those specific years.
Joe, so Mercedes mentioned the skull briefly, that it was used. You mentioned a place you might find it on campus, but it's such a broad, it's used so broadly. Here, definitely here on campus. Can you talk a little bit more about that too?
Yeah, so the skull is very spiritual. It's not, used for decoration. It has a meaning. It has a purpose. It's used at the altar outside of the sweat lodge. We do a really cool thing at Our Lady of the Sioux Chapel where we connect the skull and the hide in connection with the altar, which is in connection with the tabernacle which is in connection with the tapestry, which is titled Indian Christ. So it's this imaginary parallel line of just all the sacrifice of love. And so it's a reminder for our students of who Christ is, how it's connected to the buffalo. It's also for our students to see culture in a Catholic church too. So it's just a really cool parallel line, imaginary line, where students can see sacrifice of love. So the parallel then is Christ giving his life for the people, right, through his passion. The buffalo is the same thing. It's offering itself for the love of everybody. It's offering itself, meat, bones, hide, everything, to be used for the people in love for the people.
And what an example for the rest of us too, is that gift of generosity and what we can do for each other. I like that. So what an amazing experience, but what else would you want to tell us about it, Mercedes? What else is on your mind about the entire experience?
So the entire buffalo hunt is something that everybody should take advantage of at St. Joe's. I'm glad that I got to take advantage of it for 2 years. And it's just, I am very thankful for everybody who put it together, for Joe, for, other people who weren't there that put it together. It's something that I'm looking forward for the younger kids to come up and see and experience and get to take a part of. So yeah, it was just an amazing experience, and I hope everybody gets to participate in it. And I do too, because I think those experiences off campus can be such teaching moments. And I know you'll take something with this. You're a senior now, right? And you're about to move on into the world, and you can take some of those lessons that you learned from your relative out there that day and carry them on into the world with you. Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm glad you got to experience that, Joe. I'm glad you and Lorraine are a part of that, and you're trying to make that happen every single year. It's those kind of experiences, I think, that are what make this school just a little bit different than some other schools, and I'm glad you got to be a part of it. And thank you for sharing here at Ho-Choka and being a part of this. And also thank you to our audience for joining us here at Ho-Choka at the Center of St. Joseph's Indian School, where we talk about issues that are central to Native American education today. Until next time, stay centered.